What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A Taipei city councilor is accusing former mayor and presidential candidate Ke Wen-je of corruption. The councilor filed a suit against Ke, saying he used his position to profit off a commercial development in Taipei. Ke allegedly increased the land use density of a plot once occupied by a shopping center. The over 8-fold increase in density will allow for much taller buildings on the land. Ke's Taiwan People's Party is urging the prosecution not to let politics get in the way of a fair trial. Many of Taiwan's biggest companies have been recognized for their sustainability efforts, but are all of them living up to the standard? This environmental group says no. Harel Hughes reports.
Taiwan CPC Corporation is one of the country's largest gas companies, and also the winner of numerous environmental sustainability awards in 2022. But a review by environmental group Green Citizens Action Alliance found that in the same year, the company was fined $500,000 for violating environmental protections.
还是有非常多的违规记录，然后甚至是造成员工都有受伤，然后甚至有很严重的气爆的事件。那这对我们来说，当然是你的改善程度可能是很有限。那你到底为什么可以拿到这样的永续奖？
CPC is not the only company accused of greenwashing, or paying lip service to environmental protection while continuing to have ecologically harmful practices. The environmental group reviewed Taiwan's 4 largest sustainability awards and found that the winners also included some of Taiwan's largest polluters. They say 96% of participating companies were given an award, yet more than half of those had also been fined over environmental and labor violations and put forth vague plans for reducing carbon emissions.
多于一半的企业，它其实是没有办法达到政府目前设定的这个2030年的减量目标，达到24%。
But it's not just the awards from NGOs. Of those awards issued by Taiwan's government, 30% of the companies had various violations, according to Green Citizens Action Alliance. The group says it's fine for these companies to win awards, but when it comes to the environment and the climate, words and statements are meaningless without concrete action. Kamashu and Harel Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
New standards for discipline in elementary and middle schools are on the way. And as John Ventres reports, they're proving controversial.
A beloved student tradition gets a bit out of hand. Taipei's Chunggong High School tolerates its graduating class tossing their books and papers out the windows at the end of exams. When one student set off fireworks amid the paper avalanche, even though they were warned not to, administrators were a bit taken aback. But there are national standards for discipline in high schools, so the school knew how it was allowed to punish the offender. In elementary and middle schools, such rules don't yet exist. Each region of Taiwan has so far been allowed to make its own decisions. That looks about to change, though. The Education Ministry plans to put a new code of standards in effect this August. The rules were only announced Wednesday, but already the education sector is talking about them. Views are mixed.
包含到时候可以跟校外机构，也许是警察单位等等求助，我觉得这次有定的。在整个法规上、常规面上，我觉得还是 OK 的。只是说呢，很可能需要引导大家去怎么样去定法规才是合理的。
One NGO is worried about several particular changes, mainly the fact that teachers won't be able to police uniforms or what might be considered inappropriate behavior, like public displays of affection. Teachers can write to guardians and ask students to write a self-reflection, but they're overall expected to react with positive reinforcement.
因为你是准则嘛，那准则的意思是说，不管你们开会结果状况如何，这些东西是我不会罚的，也不会去碰的。
Taiwan's school rules have changed rapidly in recent years. It only officially banned corporal punishment in schools in 2006. But where to draw the line between students' rights and teachers' ability to control the classroom and build good character is a question that's still not settled. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The Solomon Islands has a new leader. Lawmakers in the Pacific Island nation have voted in former Foreign Minister Jeremiah Manele. It's the climax of an election big regional powers have been watching closely because of China. Louis Watt sends us this report from the capital, Honiara.
42-year-old homemaker Janet Ringo spent the night outside the Solomon Islands main hospital, waiting to see a doctor for sores that have appeared on her body. She doesn't know when she'll get in, or if there will be any medicine available when she does. The health system in this Pacific Island nation is struggling, and locals like Ringo are hoping recent elections here bring change.
And I'm panicking because people come, then slow, then they shall die. Immigrant new members, him need for him improve here, man. Him no fit for him stay one place. Him need him more improve.
Ringo's hopes now fall on this man, Jeremiah Manele, the Solomon Islands' newly elected Prime Minister. This island group just northeast of Australia is one of the world's poorest nations. But as its leader, Manele is now in the global spotlight because of what his leadership could mean for China's influence in the Pacific region. In 2022, when he was foreign minister, Manele signed a confidential security agreement with China, alarming countries like the US and Australia and causing concern domestically, with residents here left wondering what powers the secret deal grants China. This arrangement came after the Solomons cut diplomatic ties with Taiwan, and China began pouring money into the islands. It has spent $71 million to build this stadium, which was originally going to be funded by Taiwan. It's the largest scale Chinese infrastructure project in the region, built so the Solomon Islands could host last year's Pacific Games. But critics complain that no one's used the stadium since.
If China can build a national stadium that large, why not build our roads? Why not invest in health services? So these are the things that people were hoping to look for, developments that would touch the lives of our people.
Back at the only hospital in the capital, people are still waiting to be seen. It's just a 10-minute drive from the parliament, where the newly elected lawmakers are preparing to start their work. While the same party is still in power, people waiting here for care are hoping the new government prioritizes their needs over catering to foreign partners like China. Klein Wong and Louise Watt in Honiara, Solomon Islands for TaiwanPlus.
Disagreements between Manila and Beijing continue to rumble over territorial claims in the South China Sea. It comes as the Philippines gathers its allies for large-scale military drills called Balikatan. And as Rick Lauer reports, the French Navy is joining for the first time.
The navies of France and the Philippines are conducting joint drills here in the South China Sea. It's on the sidelines of Balikatan 2024, large-scale military drills attended by France for the first time. They've been conducting cross-deck landings with helicopters, search and rescue operations and anti-boarding drills. It comes as the two countries' militaries look to increase cooperation. They're in talks on an official defence agreement that would allow access to each other's bases.
The French Navy are glad that they were included in the exercise, and according to them, this will not be the last time they will be joining us. They also wanted to have their own bilateral exercise with us, not just during Balikatan exercise.
As China becomes more assertive of territorial claims here in the South China Sea, and the Philippines says it is determined to defend its sovereignty, it's been rallying its allies. France has also been paying more attention to the Indo-Pacific, but it's unclear how much it would be willing to weigh in on issues of sovereignty, territorial claims, so-called red lines for Beijing. France has one of the closest relationships with China in Western Europe. Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to visit Paris in just a few days. Balikatan, literally meaning shoulder to shoulder, is a show of unity from the Philippines and its allies. These relationships are set to be put to the test as tensions continue to mount here in the South China Sea. Alex Chen and Rick Lauert in the South China Sea for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has reported the highest number of domestic dengue fever cases for this time of year since 2016. The country's Center for Disease Control has confirmed the one new domestic case at the end of April, bringing the total so far to 163. Officials say recent rainfall has created more breeding sites for mosquitoes, which can carry the disease. With mosquito concentrations on the rise, especially in southern Taiwan, people are being urged to get rid of any stagnant water and protect themselves from the insects. Taiwan is set to phase out nuclear power by next year, but the country might not be saying goodbye to atomic energy just yet. Sally Jensen went to Kending to find out why.
Playing on the beach, a stone's throw away from a pair of nuclear reactors. This seaside resort on the southern tip of Taiwan has been neighbours with an almost 2-gigawatt nuclear power plant for 40 years. But not all visitors here have noticed.
本来就不知道，我不知道，我来了才知道。我现在知道，真的假的？我觉得超奇怪的。为什么？因为我觉得这是一个很休闲、很快乐的地方，然后也有很多学生就是毕业旅行啊，或者是放假的时候会来这边玩，但是隔壁却有一个核电厂，然后我觉得有点小怪，对啊。
我觉得真的无所谓。因为其实现在很多东西，其实你说对人体有害的东西，其实真的太多了。那其实我个人是觉得，当然对于人来说啊，我是觉得无所谓。
These young visitors may seem ambivalent, but the last 2 referenda on it show most Taiwanese have strong and varied opinions on the use of nuclear energy in the country.
That over there is Ma'anshan, Taiwan's last running nuclear power plant. It provides 6% of the country's electricity and is hugely controversial, dividing public opinion over safety and environmental concerns. It is now set to be pulled offline next year.
That's under the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's Nuclear-Free Homeland program. Since the party's founding in 1986, it has pushed to phase out nuclear energy as a power source. Back then, there were 3 nuclear power plants, providing over 40% of Taiwan's electricity. And while the DPP again won the country's leadership in January elections, the opposition KMT won a slight majority of legislative seats, and they want to increase nuclear power generation and extend the life of the last running power plant. But a vocal anti-nuclear camp is fighting back against the KMT's moves, concerned about waste management and the possibility of earthquake-triggered atomic disasters. Ultimately, despite safety assurances from the plant's operators, observers say it'll be politics that decides whether nuclear energy has a future in Taiwan.
Because of the current divides within the legislature, it is a kind of question how things will pan out. And so I think we're in this kind of confused period. I think we'll see further contention regarding nuclear energy or also other forms of energy going forward.
As this power plant prepares to shut down operations by May next year, the KMT will be trying to shore up support in the legislature to overturn the DPP's decades-old nuclear energy policy. And if they succeed, it could mean these nuclear reactors remain a fixture at the beach for much longer. Chris Ma and Sally Jensen in Kending for TaiwanPlus.
As coral spawning season starts off southern Taiwan, scientists are warning that divers going to see the spectacle could disrupt the annual event.
国外已经有研究显示，夜间的人工照明会影响这个珊瑚正常的生殖活动，包括沿岸的这些光害啊，还有大量的这个潜水客在夜间的这些照明。
Scientists have also found that there are more corals off Taiwan's southern tip this year than last year. That's due to lower impact from typhoon weather and warm currents. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at these traditional Ukrainian Easter eggs. These people in Kyiv are painting pisanka to support the country's bid for UNESCO to recognize them as an intangible cultural heritage. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.